It is almost midnight. You are sitting on the edge of your bed, one sock on, one sock off, staring at the wall like it might tell you something. The day is over, but your mind is not. It is still talking, still spinning, still going over a conversation from earlier that nobody else even remembers. Your phone lights up. You glance at it, then look away. You do not have the energy to talk to anyone right now, and you do not know how to explain why. You just know that something inside you feels heavy, and you do not have a name for it yet. That heavy feeling is not a flaw. It is not a sign that something is wrong with you. It is a sign that you have been carrying things most people would have dropped a long time ago. And tonight, I am going to show you why what you call weakness might be the deepest strength you have ever owned. Your eyes are on this video for a reason. Subscribe now and I'll show you what's really happening inside the mind of someone who is stronger than they have ever been told. Let me tell you about a man I'll call Samuel. Samuel was the strong one in his family. When his parents fought, he was the peacemaker. When his sister was scared, he was the comfort. When money got tight, he was the one who skipped meals so the younger kids could eat. By the time he was 25, he had been strong for so long that he forgot what soft even felt like. One day, Samuel sat in his car after work and could not move. The key was in the ignition, the radio was on, but his hands stayed in his lap. He cried for 40 minutes without making a sound. When he finally drove home, he told his wife, "I think something is wrong with me." Nothing was wrong with him. Something was finally right. His body was telling him the truth his mind had ignored for years. He was tired. Not the kind of tired that sleep fixes. The kind of tired that comes from being everyone's hero and nobody's child. Maybe you know that feeling. Maybe you are reading this and your chest just got a little tight. If so, stay with me. I'm going to walk you through 8 signs of psychological strength that you almost certainly have and almost certainly do not give yourself credit for. The first sign is that you notice things other people miss. You walk into a room and feel the mood before anyone says a word. You hear a small change in someone's voice and know something is off. You see the tiny shift in a friend's face and ask if they are okay, even when nobody else noticed. People have called you too sensitive your whole life. They said you read into things. They said you were paranoid. They said you needed to relax. But you were not making it up. You were picking up on signals that other people were too busy or too closed off to feel. That kind of awareness is not a problem. It is a gift that costs something. The cost is that you feel more, including the heavy stuff. The gift is that you understand people in a way most of the world never will. Stop calling your sensitivity a weakness. It is the very thing that makes people trust you, that makes children open up to you, that makes animals walk toward you in a quiet room. It is one of the rarest forms of intelligence, and you have it. The second sign is that you keep showing up for your own life, even when nobody is watching. You make your bed, you drink the water, you answer the email, you take the shower on the day when you wanted to lie in the dark forever. Nobody is going to write a song about that. Nobody is going to clap. There is no trophy for the small, invisible acts of self-respect that hold your life together. But you do them anyway. You keep choosing your life in tiny ways every single day. Save this video. There will be a night soon when you forget how strong you are, and you will need to come back to this and remember. The third sign is that you can hold 2 opposite feelings at once without falling apart. You can love someone and be angry with them at the same time. You can miss a person and also be grateful they are not in your life anymore. You can be proud of how far you have come and also sad about how long it took. Most people cannot hold this much truth at once. They pick one feeling and pretend the other does not exist. They love without anger, or they leave without grief, or they grow without honoring what they lost. Their lives are simpler, but they are also smaller. You live in the full picture. You feel the whole truth of a thing, even when the whole truth is messy. That is not confusion. That is depth. That is the kind of mind that great writers, great healers, and great parents have always had. The world will keep telling you to make up your mind, to pick a side, to stop being so complicated. Do not listen. Your ability to hold complexity is the reason people feel safe with you. They know you will not flatten them into a label. The fourth sign is that you have made peace with parts of your past that other people would still be running from. You know what happened to you. You do not pretend it was nothing, but you also do not let it define every minute of your day anymore. There was a time when the memory ran your life. You jumped at certain sounds. You shut down at certain words. You picked partners who reminded you of the very people who hurt you, and you did not even know you were doing it. The past was not behind you. It was in the driver's seat. Then, slowly, you started to take the wheel back. Maybe through therapy, maybe through prayer, maybe through long walks and longer journals, maybe just through the quiet decision made over and over to not let what happened to you become who you are. That work is invisible to almost everyone in your life. They see the calmer you, the kinder you, the clearer you, and they think you were just born this way. You were not. You built this. You earned this. You bled for this peace, and nobody knows it but you. Follow for more truth like this. Your soul has been waiting a long time for someone to put words around what you have been quietly going through. The fifth sign is that you can hear hard truths about yourself without falling apart. Someone tells you that you hurt them, and instead of getting defensive, you sit with it. You think about it. You ask yourself if there is something true in what they said, even if it stings. This is so rare, you would not believe it. Most people, the second they hear something uncomfortable about themselves, go to war. They argue, they explain, they turn it around and make it about the other person. They protect their image at any cost. You have done that too sometimes. We all have. But more and more often, you can pause. You can say, "Let me think about that." You can come back later and say, "You were right. I am sorry." You can change. You can grow. You can let truth in without it destroying you. That kind of openness takes years to build, and most people never build it at all. The fact that you can hear, "I am hurting because of you," and not run, is a sign of psychological strength so deep it can heal entire families when it gets passed down. The sixth sign is that you have stopped expecting people to give you what they have already shown you they cannot give. There was a time when you kept going back to the same well, hoping it would finally have water. The parent who never said "I love you," the friend who never showed up, the partner who never apologized. You waited, you hoped, you explained yourself one more time, sure that this time they would understand. Then something in you got quiet. You stopped explaining, you stopped hoping. Not in a bitter way, in a soft, sad, accepting way. You looked at them and thought, "This is who they are. This is what they can give. And it is not enough for me anymore." You stopped fighting reality. That single shift, accepting people exactly as they are instead of as you wish they were, is one of the deepest forms of emotional maturity a human can reach. Most people never get there. They die still waiting for someone to change. Bookmark this video. The next time you feel guilty for finally letting go of someone who never met you halfway, you will need to come back here and remember why you did it. The seventh sign is that you can be in pain and still be kind. This one is rare in a way that hurts to talk about. Most people, when they are hurting, become harder. They snap. They lash out. They find someone smaller or softer and pour their pain onto them. It is the way pain travels through families and through generations, like a bucket being poured from one head to the next. You have stopped the bucket. You feel the hurt, but you do not pass it to the cashier who is taking too long. You do not pass it to your kid who spilled the juice. You do not pass it to your partner who is just trying to help. You hold it inside and you ask yourself what you actually need instead of just exploding outward. This is not easy. This is not natural. This is one of the hardest jobs a human heart can do, and you do it quietly, every day. You break the chain that someone else started. You absorb pain that is not your fault and refuse to send it forward. There are children, partners, friends, and strangers walking around right now whose lives are softer because you chose, in a moment of pain, to be kind anyway. You will probably never know how much that mattered. But it mattered. It mattered more than I can say. The eighth sign is that you keep believing in goodness, even after the world has given you reasons not to. You have been lied to. You have been used. You have trusted people who did not deserve your trust. You have given love to hands that did not know how to hold it. A weaker version of you would have closed forever, built a wall, decided that everyone is the same and nobody can be trusted. Some people do that. They go through their lives waiting to be hurt, and they make sure they hurt others first, just to feel safe. You did not do that. You took the long way. You let yourself be sad for a while. Maybe you got cold for a season, just to protect yourself. But then, slowly, you came back. You opened again. You let yourself love again, even though you knew exactly what it could cost. That is not naive. That is the highest form of courage there is. To know how dark people can be and still believe in light. To know how love can break you and still be willing to feel it. That is the soul of someone who has been to the bottom and decided to come back, not as a colder person, but as a softer one. Comment one word below that describes how you feel right now after hearing all of this. I read every word. You are not just a number to me. You are a real person, sitting somewhere right now, and your story matters here. Now I want you to notice something important. Every single one of these 8 signs has probably been used against you at some point. Someone called your sensitivity a weakness. Someone called your boundaries cold. Someone said your forgiveness was foolish. Someone said your kindness was too much. The people who said those things were not bad people most of the time. They were people who never developed these strengths in themselves, and they did not know what to do with seeing them in you. So they tried to make you smaller. They tried to make you doubt the very things that made you powerful. It worked for a long time. You believed them. You spent years trying to be less sensitive, less feeling, less honest, less yourself. You shrank. You hardened. You apologized for traits that were never wrong. Tonight is the night you stop. Tonight is the night you take it all back. Every quiet strength you tried to bury, every soft power you tried to hide, every part of you that was called too much is coming back home. Turn on notifications. The truth that you are about to hear in the next part of this video is something most people will never have anyone tell them. Let me tell you about a woman I'll call Rosa. Rosa grew up in a home where love was loud and angry. She learned early that the safest place to be was small. She did not ask for things. She did not take up space. She made herself easy to have around. By the time she was 40, Rosa had a husband who barely noticed her, a job that drained her, and friends who only called when they needed something. She would lie awake at night and wonder what was wrong with her. Why did she always end up invisible? Why did everyone seem to take and never give back? Then one day, Rosa went to a small group meeting at her church, and a woman she had never met looked at her across the circle and said, "You have been quiet your whole life, and I want to know what you actually think." Rosa started to cry, right there, with strangers. She did not know why. She just knew that nobody had ever asked her that before. That night, something changed. Rosa started speaking up. Small things at first. She told her husband she did not like the way he talked to her. She told her boss she could not stay late again. She told her friend that she was not free this weekend. Each no felt like an earthquake. Each one also felt like coming home. A year later, Rosa was a different woman. Not louder, not meaner, just more real. Her husband had to learn a new wife, and to his credit, he did. Some friends disappeared. Better ones showed up. Her job got better because she finally let people see what she could do. If you are reading this and you have spent your life being small to keep the peace, Hear me now. The peace you kept was not real peace. It was just everyone else being comfortable while you disappeared. Real peace includes you. Real peace has your voice in it. Real peace cannot be built on your silence. It is okay to take up space. It is okay to want things. It is okay to say what you think, even if your voice shakes. The people who truly love you will adjust. The ones who cannot adjust were not loving the real you anyway. They were loving the convenient you. Share this with someone who has spent their whole life being small to make other people feel big. They need to hear that they are allowed to come home to themselves. There is something else I want to tell you, and I want you to really listen. The strength that lives inside you is not the kind that makes you untouchable. It is the kind that lets you be touched, hurt, moved, and changed, and still come back to yourself afterward. The world keeps selling us a fake kind of strength. It looks like never crying, never needing anyone, never being affected, always being calm, cool, and in control. That is not strength. That is a costume, and costumes get heavy after a while. Real strength has tear tracks on its face. Real strength asks for help. Real strength says, I do not know what to do right now. Real strength sits on the bathroom floor and calls a friend. Real strength goes back to therapy when it thought it was done. Real strength admits it was wrong. You do not have to be untouchable to be strong. In fact, the people who try to be untouchable are usually the most fragile of all. One unexpected hit and they shatter because they never learned how to bend. You have learned. You have bent 1,000 times and not broken. That is something different. That is something real. Stay connected. There is more inside this video, and the deepest part is still coming. I want to talk to you about something most people are too scared to say out loud. There is a kind of grief that comes with becoming psychologically strong. Nobody warns you about it. Nobody tells you that growth has a funeral inside it. But it does. When you start setting boundaries, you grieve the version of yourself who used to say yes to everything. When you start telling the truth, you grieve the relationships that only worked when you were lying. When you start choosing yourself, you grieve the family roles you played to keep everyone else comfortable. This grief is real. It is heavy. Sometimes it shows up as sadness with no clear cause. Sometimes it shows up as exhaustion. Sometimes it shows up as a strange kind of loneliness, even when you are surrounded by people. You are not going crazy. You are saying goodbye to someone who was you, who is not really you, who carried you this far, but cannot carry you any further. Let yourself grieve. Cry for the little kid version of yourself who learned how to disappear. Cry for the teenager who tried so hard to be loved by people who were not safe. Cry for the adult who kept giving and giving until the well went dry. They all deserve a moment of mourning. They got you here. And then, when you are ready, get up. Wash your face. Drink some water. Step into the next version of yourself. The one who is honest. The one who is rested. The one who is kind to themselves the way they have always been kind to other people. That version is not a stranger. That version is who you were before the world taught you to perform. Save this video for the days when the grief of growing comes back. It will. Growth is not a straight line. Some nights you will feel like you are losing everything. You are not. You are losing what was never really yours and making space for what is. I want to tell you something about your nervous system because so many people misunderstand themselves on this level. When you have been in survival mode for a long time, your body learns to expect danger. It learns to brace. It learns to scan the room, the conversation, the email, looking for the thing that might hurt you next. So when life finally gets safe, your body does not believe it. You can be in a calm room with kind people and your chest will still feel tight. You can be in a relationship where you are loved and you will still wait for the other shoe to drop. You can have a peaceful day and instead of enjoying it, you will feel anxious, like you are missing something. That is not you being broken. That is your body trying to protect you with the only tools it has. It does not yet know that you are safe now. It does not yet know that you are not 5 years old, or 15, or 25, in that house, in that situation, in that fear. It is still on guard, because being on guard is what kept you alive. You teach your body slowly that things are different now. You breathe. You feel your feet on the floor. You let yourself rest, even when rest feels unsafe. You stay in safe places long enough for your nervous system to start believing them. It takes time. It takes patience with yourself. It takes a kind of mercy most people never offer themselves. If your body still acts scared in places that are no longer scary, do not be angry with it. Thank it. It kept you alive when you needed it to. Now, gently, you get to teach it a new song. The song of, "You can rest now." The song of, "We are okay." The song of, "The danger is over, my love. We made it." There is one more thing I need you to hear before this video ends. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not too damaged. You are not too far gone. The voice in your head that tells you that you should have figured this out by now is lying. Some people learn these strengths at 20, some at 40, some at 60. Some on their deathbed when a grandchild holds their hand and they finally understand what love is. None of them are too late. The clock you think is ticking is not real. The only deadline that matters is the one you make up in your head. If you are watching this at 15 and just starting to understand yourself, you are right on time. If you are watching this at 50 and feel like you wasted your life, you are right on time. If you are watching this in the middle of a divorce, a breakdown, a season where everything is falling apart, you are right on time. The strength inside you does not care how old you are. It does not care what you have been through. It does not care what you have done. It is waiting for you, the way it has always been waiting, the way it will always wait. All you have to do is turn toward it. One choice, one breath, one moment of honesty. That is how it begins. So tonight, before you sleep, I want you to do one quiet thing. Put your hand on your chest, feel your heart, and say thank you. Thank you to the part of you that kept going. Thank you to the part of you that survived. Thank you to the part of you that is still here, still trying, still hoping, still showing up. You have been so much harder on yourself than you ever needed to be. You have called yourself weak when you were carrying mountains. You have called yourself broken when you were healing. You have called yourself too much when you were exactly enough. That ends now. From tonight forward, you get to see yourself the way the people who truly love you see you. Strong, soft, real, awake, alive, honest, free in ways you are still learning to feel. You were never as small as they said. You were never as weak as you feared. You were never as alone as it felt. You were always, always stronger than you knew, and tonight is the night you finally get to know it. If one person in this video reminded you of yourself, share it with them. Subscribe for more videos that speak the truth you need to hear.